They said you were stuck. They said you missed your chance. That the moment passed you by, and now the world will go on without you. But what they didn't see, what they never understood, is that your life isn't built on their schedule. Your destiny doesn't run on their timelines. Because your next step was never yours alone to make. It's been written. It's been carved into the fabric of time by a force greater than every setback, every delay, every betrayal. You are not behind. You are in preparation. Because when God is the architect of your path, every detour has a destination. Every delay holds a lesson. And every closed door is the echo of a greater one unlocking in the distance. What looks like stillness is divine strategy. What feels like silence is sacred alignment. And what seems like rejection is redirection from the heavens themselves. Your next step is not just a step. It is the ignition of purpose. A move so precise, so divinely timed, that nothing, no man, no failure, no storm can stop it. Because when your next step is God-ordained, it carries a force that moves mountains and parts oceans. It may not come with applause. It may not be understood by those around you. But it will be undeniable. History proves it. Moses wasn't ready when he stood trembling at the edge of the Red Sea. But God parted the waters anyway. David wasn't qualified when he stepped onto the battlefield with nothing but a sling. But the giant fell anyway. Harriet Tubman was a slave with no freedom, no army, no map. But her purpose led hundreds to liberation anyway. Because when the call is real, when heaven's whisper becomes a roar in your soul, your next move becomes unstoppable. But to take that step, to walk that path, you must believe in a vision that hasn't arrived yet. You must hold on to a fire that no one else feels. You must plant your feet in faith, not sight. That's what separates the chosen from the comfortable. The bold from the broken. The destined from the drifting. There is a war between what you see and what you know. And most people surrender to the sight. They trust the facts. They bow to the odds. But you, if you're still listening, you are not most people. You are not average. You are not accidental. You are chosen. And chosen ones don't move by sight, they move by belief. Because when a vision is God-breathed, it cannot die in man-made doubt. You've been looking for signs, asking for confirmation. But the truth is, the sign is already in you. It's that burning sensation you can't shake. That idea that keeps waking you up at 2 a.m. That frustration with the way things are because you were born to change them. That's not coincidence. That's calling. And calling will haunt you until it is fulfilled. But calling demands commitment. Not convenience. And God will not hand the pen to someone who keeps dropping it when the pressure rises. You have to hold the line when it's easier to walk away. You have to fight through silence, through delay, through every reason to quit. Because your next step is not just about you, it's about everyone attached to your obedience. There are people who will never know freedom unless you walk through your fire. There are lives waiting on the other side of your decision. That's how destiny works. It's a ripple effect. One act of faith can echo for generations. So don't you dare play small. Don't you dare minimize your gift just because it doesn't look like theirs. You weren't made to fit in, you were forged to stand out. You weren't made to blend, you were designed to blaze a trail. And while the world tries to pull you back into mediocrity, God is pulling you forward into meaning. This world doesn't need more comfort. It needs more courage. It doesn't need more influencers. It needs more impact. It doesn't need more noise. It needs more purpose. And that purpose lives in you. But you will never walk in it while trying to earn the approval of people who never built what you're building. You don't need their applause. You need alignment. You need silence long enough to hear the divine instructions. You need vision clear enough to walk when there's no map. Because sometimes, the next step is not revealed until your foot is already in motion. You will not always see the staircase. You will not always hear the trumpet sound. But obedience doesn't wait for clarity, it walks with conviction. Faith is not proven in comfort, it's forged in fire. The greatest leaps are taken in darkness, with nothing but a whisper in your chest that says, move. Abraham didn't ask for coordinates when he left everything behind. He trusted the voice. That voice didn't give him a destination, just direction. But it was enough. Because when God ordains the journey, every step taken in faith is a step taken in power. A step taken in legacy. A step taken in divine protection. And still, people around you will call you crazy. They'll say you're delusional. They'll laugh because they can't see what you see. They weren't supposed to. The vision was given to you. Not your friends. Not your family. Not your critics. You were the one chosen to carry it. And the weight of it isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof that you were built to bear what others cannot. Proof that God saw something in you he didn't see in the crowd. You're not random. You're not lost. You are being shaped. And shaping never feels like success. It feels like loss. It feels like delay. It feels like isolation. Because diamonds don't get formed in sunlight. They're formed under crushing pressure, buried deep in silence, surrounded by darkness until the time is right. And when the time is right, the world will marvel at what they thought was buried. But it wasn't buried. It was planted. There is a difference. Buried things are forgotten. But planted things are destined to rise. You are not buried in problems. You are planted in preparation. You are not buried in delays. You are planted in divine timing. You are not buried in struggle. You are planted in strength. Because what God ordains, hell cannot cancel. What God sets in motion, no force on earth can block. And that includes your next step. So stop looking backward. Stop questioning your worth based on how long it's taking. Stop measuring your future with broken rulers of the past. Destiny doesn't care where you started. It only asks if you'll keep going. Will you push when you feel empty? Will you walk when no one claps? Will you speak even when your voice shakes? That's what makes the next step unstoppable. Not perfection, but persistence. Henry Ford failed 5 times before building an empire on wheels. But he kept building. Why? Because the vision was louder than the voices. The mission was stronger than the mockery. And what God had placed inside him was greater than what the world could take from him. You think you're waiting on the perfect moment. But what if the moment is waiting on the real you? The one who stops apologizing for being different. The one who stops lowering their voice in rooms full of small minds. The one who stops explaining their fire to those who were never meant to feel its heat. You will not rise trying to be understood by those still stuck. You will not soar waiting for permission from people who've never left the ground. So rise. Even if your legs shake. Speak. Even if your voice cracks. Move. Even if the path disappears with each step. Because you're not moving alone. You are walking with the Creator of all things beside you. And when God moves, everything moves. Mountains bow. Storms settle. Enemies scatter. Chains break. But He moves through you, not around you. Which means the next step is yours to take, even if He's already made it unstoppable. Don't confuse stillness with safety. Sometimes the most dangerous place you can be is stuck in comfort, paralyzed by the fear of failure, waiting for the world to give you a sign it never will. The next step won't come with a guarantee. It won't come with a round of applause. It will come with resistance. It will come with doubt. It will come with fear whispering, "What if you're not enough?" But here's the truth, you don't have to feel ready to be chosen. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You will be stretched. You will be tested. You will be broken open, not to destroy you, but to make room for what's coming. You are not who you were a year ago. You're not even who you were yesterday. Growth is happening, even if it's quiet. And transformation always looks like chaos before it becomes clarity. You're shedding the skin of who you were trained to be so you can finally step into who you were born to be. And that is terrifying. Because purpose demands death, death of the ego, death of the old self, death of the excuses, death of the patterns that kept you in survival mode. You can't carry old mindsets into new seasons. You can't walk through open doors with hands still holding closed ones. You've got to let go of what's familiar to step into what's divine. The truth is, God will often strip you of everything false so that what remains is unshakably real. Not so you'll suffer, but so when you rise, nothing can pull you back. Look at Lincoln. Born in a log cabin. Self-educated. Mocked. Rejected in politics time after time. But purpose kept rising in him. Every setback became a stepping stone. And in the darkest hour of the nation, he stepped into destiny not as a perfect man, but as a prepared one. This is the pattern of greatness. It doesn't come from ease. It's carved in the crucible of pressure. It's birthed through pain and doubt and days when you wonder if it's all worth it. But listen closely now, it is. It always has been. Because your life is not an accident. You were crafted by intelligence beyond comprehension, placed here in this exact moment in time for a reason no man can fully explain. That idea in your spirit? That dream that won't die? That vision that keeps calling you forward? That's not ambition. That's assignment. And assignments don't expire because of delays. God is not looking at your track record, He's looking at your willingness. He's looking at your faith. He's looking at whether you will trust Him enough to step before the waters part. Because the waters will part. The giants will fall. The prison doors will open. But they open after the faith, not before. You want to walk in the light, but God is teaching you how to trust Him in the shadows. You want the harvest, but God is showing you how to plant with bleeding hands. You want the crown, but God is teaching you how to carry the cross first. Because without the cross, the crown is hollow. So endure. Endure with fire. Endure with tears if you have to. But do not bow to the fear, the shame, or the lie that says you're too late. You are right on time. Appointed. Anointed. Aligned. And your next step, no matter how small, no matter how quiet, no matter how uncertain, carries the weight of heaven behind it. Step anyway. Step, even if your voice trembles. Step, even if the path disappears beneath your feet. Step, not because you have the full picture, but because you trust the painter. There's a reason your heart still beats. A reason breath still fills your lungs. That reason is not survival, it is significance. You were not created to merely exist. You were made to impact. You were made to build. You were made to transform everything you touch. But first, you must transform yourself. And that begins with obedience. Not to fear. Not to comfort. But to calling. To that inner roar that refuses to stay quiet. That sacred fire that doesn't ask for approval, it demands expression. That burning knowing that God did not bring you this far to abandon you now. You may feel unqualified. Good. So did every world changer before you? You may feel overwhelmed. Perfect. That's how you know it's bigger than you. You may feel alone. But let me promise you this, you are never alone. There are angels walking with you. Grace covering you. Purpose fueling you. And favor that's been following you since the day you were born. You are not one step behind. You are one decision away. One decision to rise. One decision to obey. One decision to stop looking at what you lack and start moving with what you have. And what you have is enough. Enough strength to get back up. Enough wisdom to begin again. Enough favor to break every chain that tried to hold you. This next step isn't a small thing. It's a spiritual earthquake. It's the unraveling of generational patterns. It's the moment history starts shifting because you finally believed. Believe that your life matters. Believe that you were made for more. Believe that God Himself is behind your every move. There is power in that belief. Power to rewrite legacies. Power to open doors man can't shut. Power to defy statistics, silence doubt, and walk into rooms no one thought you deserved to enter. But don't do it to prove them wrong. Do it to prove to yourself that the fire in your soul was real all along. Because when you walk with purpose, you don't chase applause. You carry presence. And presence will open more doors than pride ever could. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., one voice, trembling but relentless. Not seeking fame, but justice. Not chasing spotlight, but walking in divine instruction. And though the road was hard, it was historic. Because he walked in obedience. You, too, are being called to something historic. Maybe not to shake the world, but to shake your world. To shift your family's future. To heal what's been broken. To become the first, the bold, the unshakable force of renewal in your bloodline. But it starts here. With the step you've been avoiding. The step you've talked yourself out of 1,000 times. The step that doesn't make sense to others, but makes fire rise in your bones every time you imagine it. Take it. Not because it's safe. Not because it's easy. But because it's yours. God already cleared the way. Heaven already signed off. The door is already open. All that's left is your yes. And when you give that yes fully, finally, fearlessly, don't be surprised when things begin to shift. When people fall away. When storms rise. When resistance comes. That's not a sign to stop. That's confirmation you're stepping into something sacred. Because hell doesn't fight what isn't a threat. And your life, your next step, is a threat to every lie, every limitation, and every label that's tried to keep you small. So walk boldly. Walk freely. Walk knowing that every inch of ground you cover is drenched in divine favor. Your next step is not ordinary. It is God-ordained. It is unstoppable. And it is now. So now we stand here, at the edge of your destiny. The moment that separates who you've been from who you're becoming. This is not just a turning point. This is a spiritual rebirth. Everything you've endured, every sleepless night, every tear cried in silence, every rejection that ripped through your chest, it wasn't meaningless. It was refining you. Shaping you. Preparing you for this very moment. The storm didn't come to destroy you, it came to reveal you. The battle didn't break you, it baptized you. And the delay? It wasn't denial. It was divine protection, timed with surgical precision. Because God doesn't rush greatness. He doesn't crown potential, He crowns the prepared. And now, you are ready. Not perfect. But ready. Ready to step into rooms that once intimidated you. Ready to speak words that heal nations, even if they only reach one. Ready to walk paths that were shut for generations until now. The chains that bound your parents will break with you. The ceilings that held your family back will shatter under your feet. The cycles end here. The curse ends now. The silence ends with you. This is your appointment with purpose. And though fear may still whisper, you will not bow. You've bowed long enough. To opinions. To comfort. To smallness. But not anymore. From this moment forward, you rise with heaven behind you. You speak with fire. You walk with thunder. You live with unshakable intention. Because this is no longer about proving anything. This is about becoming everything you were born to be. So stop looking at the mountain like it's too high. God made you the climber. Stop shrinking in rooms too small for your calling. God made you the builder. Stop asking if you're enough. God already answered that on the day He chose you. You are the evidence that greatness can be born in struggle. You are the proof that obedience opens the impossible. You are the living reminder that with God, no step is wasted. And your next step? It carries the weight of generations. It carries the fragrance of eternity. It carries the mark of God. There is nothing ordinary about what you're stepping into. Because you are not walking, you are rising. And when you rise, don't look back. Let the past stay buried. Let the doubt stay silenced. Let the fear be crushed beneath your obedience. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were destined to be. So walk forward with fire in your chest. With heaven in your lungs. With conviction in your stride. Let every step you take echo in the halls of eternity. I am chosen. I am ready. And I will not be stopped. Because this is your time. Your season. Your moment. And your next step is God-ordained and unstoppable. Let's go even deeper. Because long after the music fades, long after the voiceovers stop and the videos end, life keeps moving. And it's in the quiet, in the mundane, in the unseen hours that your next step is truly tested. Not on stages. Not in the spotlight. But in how you rise when no one's watching. In how you speak to yourself when failure knocks again. In how you show up when the emotions have dried and all that's left is discipline. Because what is divine cannot just live in dreams. It must live in daily decisions. You say you're called. Good. Then your habits must align with heaven's rhythm. You say you're chosen. Then choose yourself every day, especially on the days when no one else does. You say your next move is unstoppable. Then let your consistency reflect that unshakable truth. God doesn't just anoint moments, He anoints momentum. And momentum is built brick by brick, decision by decision, hour by hour. You think destiny shows up as fireworks? No. It shows up as routine. As waking up one more time than you wanted to. As praying even when you hear nothing. As working the vision even when the results are still invisible. Every legend who ever lived, every giant who ever walked this earth, they all faced this crucible. They all had to battle the silence. And yet, they moved. Why? Because when the vision is from God, you don't need external confirmation, you carry internal combustion. You won't always feel it. You won't always see it. But it doesn't matter. Because faith is not about feeling. It's about foundation. The kind that doesn't shake when circumstances shift. The kind that stands tall when the storms return. The kind that keeps building when everyone else quits halfway. You were never called to be average. You were never made to blend in. You are a blueprint breaker, a cycle shifter, a divine disruptor. And yes, it's heavy. But so are crowns. And the weight of your next step? It's not to crush you. It's to crown you. To remind you that this isn't about temporary success. This is about eternal significance. So start walking like the ground beneath you has been cleared by angels. Start speaking like heaven has already stamped your assignment with glory. Start living like the miracle has already happened and you're just walking it out.